Hello and welcome to another edition of Great TV Shows. This is going to be the British TV show edition. I did The Office in the other one in Great TV Shows, which I want to class now as the drama special, because then I did sitcoms, I did animation. So I'm going to class this now as the British, and The Office would be in there, but I already included it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on The Office, go and watch the other one, the first volume of Great TV Shows. Okay, so we're going to kick off the show then with Extras, which is of course from Ricky Gervais, who brought us, Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who brought us The Office. Extras is interesting because it's in many ways similar to The Office, and in many ways very different. In the way that it's different is it's very more formulaic in terms of the actual formation of a show, both from the kind of way you film it and also from a narrative sense. In terms of a character arc, is a lot more kind of normal, and the kind of characters on there are a little bit more down the line than the ones that are on Office, or at least the way they interacted with people and the environment they were within. So it's a little bit more linear in a sense of a word. It's a lot more kind of like farce. There's a bit more farce and kind of slapstick involved. You know, in that sense, it's a lot broader comedy-wise than say Office was. So in that way it's different. I think the main points I think make it really good is having the elements of both. Having the awkwardness of The Office that Ricky Gervais is of course known for, and also having those kind of more broad moments with characters like Darren Lamb, you know, his agent, having characters, you know, that character played by Stephen Merchant, who I think is the best character in the show, especially season 2. I think season 2 was Extra's strongest season as well. Was brilliant. Also Barry was absolutely brilliant in that show. Amazingly funny, really good comedy actor there actually, because he'd only really done soaps over here and, you know, like daily episodic TV shows, you know, dramas, and it really proved that he can do a little bit more than that, which was great. Yeah, I think, you know, I think I preferred the Christmas special of Office. I think I preferred the way it wrapped up a lot more than I did the way that Extras wrapped up, but it's a genius show, especially the second season. So if you haven't checked it out, please do check it out. There's Extras. It's an amazing show. The Inbetweeners, which is a show over here about these kids in kind of high school. You call it high school over there. It's kind of secondary school over here, and kind of in sixth form, going into kind of college, nearly, and basically they're just a load of rude mouth kind of compare it to a live action version of South Park. It's effectively what it is, a live action version of South Park, and it's very funny. It's funny, but it's kind of cheap in a sense, in that it's amazing how funny it is from such a simple premise, and what basically is just, you know, young men or young boys just saying swear words, because it kind of is that, but it's amazing how funny that is. Trust me. It really is. The awkward situations they get themselves into is genius and really funny. Jay especially is really foul-mouthed. Then you have, I believe his name's Simon. It might be Simon. He's kind of the geeky one. And then you have this other one who likes this girl. He's a bit dull. I don't really like him. Then there's the dumb one as well. He's kind of funny. But Jay and the geeky one are the best ones, in my opinion. There's only not much else to say. Basically, they just go and get themselves in embarrassing situations you would when you're that age. Going to house parties, you know, that kind of stuff. But check that out. It's really funny. The next one isn't a TV show as such. It's not a comedy. It's not a series. It's there's a documentary filmmaker over here called Louis Theroux, and basically he does kind of, well, his career kind of changed. He started off by doing kind of weird and unusual topics. He'd interview people that were slightly odd or seemed strange, like charismatic kind of British TV presenters, or people that had kind of like a shady past or something, and he'd try and go into them, or political figures that have had kind of, you know, affairs and stuff, and he'd try and go in there and probe them about what was going on. But he always had this kind of friendly, kind of, you know, sociable, reliable attitude, but he's also very wry and very sarcastic. And especially his early ones. And he'd also do not just people, sometimes he'd go into subcultures or things like that, like he'd investigate the porn industry, or he'd go and, you know, live for a week as a professional wrestler or something. You know, he'd do stuff like that. He's really funny and really clever. Unfortunately for me, his career kind of took a serious kind of shift where he started doing, I think, subjects that were a little too serious for him. And I think his main attribute as a documentary filmmaker is his humour and the way he can add that to a show and use it to make the people say more. But when you go into more serious subjects like he did, like crime and paedophilia and stuff like that, you can't obviously do that. So it kind of made him just this guy who was there, that you didn't really need him anymore, which was a shame, I thought. And I think he made that was a bad choice, I thought, to go into those kind of serious things. It wasn't playing to his strengths. If you get a chance to check out any Louis Theroux's documentary films, please do. They're really good. I check out the earlier stuff before I check out the recent stuff, though. Okay, so the final one is Peep Show. I've only just got into this and it's bloody genius. I would go as far to say it's the best British show since The Office. It's genius. Basically, it's just these two guys, flatmates, and you follow mostly, well, pretty much all of it, you follow them and the people around them through kind of POV, point of view shots like this, like you're looking through your eyes like that, and you hear their thoughts. So you get some brilliant comedic chances of, saying one thing and thinking another, and it's just genius. And it's one of those shows where you got this one of the characters, Mark, played by David Mitchell, he's like neurotic and uptight and all that kind of bit like a Woody Allen type character of a sort. It's good when you get a character like that in a sitcom, one that you can describe like that, and what you can do is then you can read a synopsis to an episode and think, oh my god, he'd be genius in that episode. That's going to be brilliant, because you know how he would react, because he's so defined as a character within stereotypes and hyperbolic elements of a character. So he's hyperbolic or over the top neurotic. He'd be funny in a situation where he got mugged by a bunch of youths and he'd be worried about it, so that would be funny. It would be funny if he accidentally got photographed drinking and he got labelled as a binge drinker. That would be funny because his character, therefore the situation he would be in, it's going to be genius. Really clever, really satirical, really funny. I've never laughed so much in one episode of something in a long while. I mean, literally, some of the stuff they come out with, I won't repeat it because I just can't do it justice. Check it out. It's called Peep Show. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, and I'll catch you later.